Hi, my name is Catherine Azam. I am the CTO and founder of Humana, an AI consultancy based in the UK. Um, I have an academic background in applied mathematics and statistics. I've been doing data science since 2001 at Siemens, I suppose, using SPSS and Visual Basic and Excel. The word data science wasn't hip at the time or known at the time, but I've worked with statistical analysis for a long time now. I've been working for hedge funds and banks, big tech companies, IBM, Siemens, Sky, telco, automotive, and countless startups, half of whom I don't remember the names of. And I've been giving a lot of thought about the impact of what we're doing, deploying, building AI, and being AI professionals. So I'm giving this talk today because I'd like to share the things I've recently thought about, the articles I've read, the papers I've read, and the speakers I've listened to, and try and provide a bit of a summary of where we are at the moment in unlocking our AI's potential responsibly. So this is designed to be an ethical blueprint for large language models and data compliance. What is the AI hype all about? In a rapidly evolving digital landscape, large language models and RAG have conquered the world, offering unparalleled capabilities for understanding and analyzing vast amounts of data. For those who don't know, large language models are a new system which has been built on top of the transformer architecture, which was published in a paper, Attention is All You Need, in 2017. It entails an encoder and a decoder. The GPT version of that model only uses the decoder part of that architecture in that paper. But what it does is it's a way of stochastically generating the most likely next sequence, the most likely next tokens in a long sequence of words, and with a limited context window. And it's been pre-trained by billions of parameters, many gigabytes and terabytes of data that's been scraped off the web. And through the architecture of deep neural networks, it's been able to create embeddings that are vectors of numbers that make no sense to humans, but they connect everything in a multi-dimensional space for machines to make connections about different words, concepts, places, almost everything. It's what makes large language models, it's what gives them the impression that they have a brain and that they can think. It's this large amount of data. And so we have, well, not I, but OpenAI has released ChatGPT maybe 2 years ago now, and it's taken the world by storm because it was the first time that somebody's built something in AI that had such an easy-to-use interface. You could just talk to it and just see how capable it was, and people went crazy and doomsday and anthropomorphized it a lot. We're wondering if it needs a passport and civil rights. And so yeah, it's clearly a very big technology that is revolutionary in many ways. It's only as good as the data that it's trained on, and it's only as up to date as the data that it's been trained on. So that's where RAG comes in. To use this large interface optimally, you want to connect it to, relevant data and up-to-date data. So retrieval augmented generation evolved shortly after the release of large language models. And what it is it uses embedding algorithms, the same that we use for embeddings to create large language models. And it can convert your inquiry, your text, whatever you're trying to tell the model, into a vector of numbers. And then a vector search can happen by having chunks of unstructured, semi-structured data or transcripts of unstructured data in a database, and they are also converted using that same model to encode them. And if they are using the same language in the way that they encode to each other, they can talk to each other. So it helps us create incredibly fast search because we can index everything that's written in text or numbers, tables, whatever. And we can ask questions about this in natural language. We don't need to know programming. We don't need to use JSON. We can just, with a natural interface, interact with terabytes and petabytes of data. So this is really exciting. I've been coming up with so many use cases for this. And I was thinking, for example, one of the first I thought was, especially if we're using open source models, which I'm a big advocate of, we can use this to connect it to very private data that nobody else can see, such as legal firms. If they want to prepare a case, they could vectorize all the witness testimonies or the contracts if it's a corporate law situation, and they can just ask an interface, at what day did that a suspect mentioned that he would go to that location, for example, or we could find out in which paragraph of law so and so does it talk about so and so, and you don't have to go through thousands of data. You can save hours and hours and so much money and automate your business process so much quicker by using these interfaces. So I think that's a really strong use case for them. Another strong use case is recruitment firms. You could have a database of thousands of CVs, and you have a job posting, and you want to know if you have the right candidate for this. You can do a vector search using retrieval augmented generation. You can ask the LLM, can you find me a candidate who fulfills this? And it can go through all the CVs and find the ones that has the most overlap with what you're looking for and what you have in your database. So again, it's a great use case for private LLMs because you wouldn't be able to share that PII with ChatGPT per se, but you can do that because it's completely possible now to deploy your own large language model locally and build cool stuff like that. So you could be a business with gigabytes of customer data. You have logs of service chats, and you want to understand what are people complaining about, how good is my resolution process, etc. So you can analyze all that data as well, and you can categorize. For example, you can build in emotion recognition to find out which of the features of my product make my customers angry, which ones make my customers happy, which service agent is the fastest at resolving problems. All of these things are possible with large language models and RAG. So I'm a huge fan of the technology, but also scientists are discovering new things at faster and faster rates using AI. I know that they've been using machine learning methods such as scikit-learn's logistic regression and linear regression, and also some random forests. I've seen them when I was working at a climate tech company, so I know that they've been used for a while. But apparently now, according to the paper Science in the Age of AI, which was published by the Royal Society in the UK, the most active area of AI is currently medicine and the physical sciences. So I expect a vast amount of breakthroughs in those fields because I understand how vector search works and how LLMs make it so easy to search things and find new information. So I understand how generative AI can come up with new permutations of existing things that are, very similar to what we expect to see and which sort of follow the rules of our natural world. So yeah, I'm very excited to see all the technological and scientific advances that we're experiencing through this new technology. There's, of course, many skeptics. A lot of people who are quite rightly worried that AI will replace all of our jobs and they will not have any money to actually enjoy it. And other people are worried that humanoid robots will roam the streets and shoot us all. So I will come to that in more detail now, but shortly. But I want to say that AI isn't all bad, and there's a lot of people in the field who are trying to really make a positive difference in the world. So BrainHigh, the company I currently work for, were founded in 2017, right after Hurricane Maria. The pictures you see here, this is a hospital in Dominica and also a road in Puerto Rico where an entire village was cut off from healthcare. So what happened at the time was people were trying to get the medical help that they needed urgently, but the phone lines weren't working. So AI came to the rescue, and BrainHigh's AI receptionist picked up the office missed calls and answered the patient's questions and scheduled appointments for them. So we are growing and scaling, and we're covering a wider range of hospitals now. Everyone wants to be integrated and automate the system because they just haven't got the availabilities and the staff to accurately book the appointments and triage people over, conversations and the very initial contact. So AI is helping with a lot of that. And this was born out of necessity because at the time, when BrainHigh was born, there was no other way because the phone lines were down and people were in despair. And this technology really helps a lot of people. But let's pause here. As we harness the power of AI, it's crucial to consider the ethical implications and prioritize our fiduciary responsibility towards our clients. I've worked for a startup that was promising to make the internet a safer place by providing content moderation against bullying. Unfortunately, the money went to the head of the founders, and they then sold it and filed bankruptcy and then sold it abroad, and it's now being used for censorship. I've seen many data breaches in my career, thankfully not my own stacks, but I'm not jinxing this at all, please knock wood. And there is now a huge concern over data privacy and regulatory compliance, because most of the AI startups whose advertisements are flooding the markets and your LinkedIn feed and your YouTube, they are built on top of ChatGPT. All they do is use a simple API to make the call and then offer you some flashy user interface on top of it. So there's a lot of problems with that, because you're breaching PII if you send sensitive information to another company, and also if you transfer it outside the EU. If you're in the European Union, you are violating GDPR. And in response to these and other concerns, the EU has recently published the EU AI Act, and it will impose severe penalties for businesses that do not comply. So, of course, given all those factors, we're trying to build ethical AI. So I've asked Tiny Llama, which is one of the open source models. As the name suggests, it's extremely small. It takes up only 1 gigabyte of space on my hard drive, and I run it on my laptop. So it had to say about ethical AI that it is an approach to artificial intelligence designed that prioritizes the respect for human values, principles, and interests over short-term gains or convenience. It recognizes that AI systems have significant impacts on society and the environment, and it aims to create AI systems that are designed to be fair, balanced, and beneficial to all stakeholders, including humans. In ethical AI, design principles aim to ensure that AI systems are transparent, explainable, and understandable, so that human users can make informed decisions about how they use the technology. Additionally, AI systems are designed with social goals in mind rather than just focusing on technological advancements. Ethical AI also seeks to address issues related to data ownership, fairness and transparency of algorithms, and privacy protection for individuals and organizations using AI. Finally, ethical AI aims to ensure that the systems are aligned with societal goals such as sustainability, equity, and justice. This was my first attempt at this, and it came up with this answer, which I find absolutely brilliant. This is one of the smallest open source models that almost anyone can run on almost any device, and it's so profound, in my opinion. So, well done, Tidy Llama. I thought this summarizes it really well. So, as a blueprint for deploying large language models ethically, we need to start at the basics. We need to decide, as a species, we need to get together and decide what sort of AI we want and what sort of future we want that includes AI. So we need to think about the role we want it to have in our society. Do we really need armed humanoid robots roaming our street to keep us safe? Do we really want it to scan everybody's face and match it against the database, which is very likely biased against pre-existing criminals of color that they've scraped off all the different prisons in the world? We should have open dialogues about AI safety with as many stakeholders as possible. This includes your LinkedIn network, your family, your company, because I find that as many people I speak to, I get new opinions all the time about what we want from AI and what we don't want it from it. A lot of people are worried about their jobs. Other people think about the same phenomena of business automation, that they're going to get to just sit around in a hammock all day while AI is doing all their work and employers pay them, which I think is a little bit naive. But, I might be wrong. Maybe they're just really nice people after all, the corporations. But in order to build safe AI, we need to agree on what's safe first. We also need to closely monitor the regulatory landscape and ensure compliance. And we need to ensure top quality data governance, regardless of the extent of AI in our workflows. Data privacy advocates are currently at war with big tech. This is just a small selection, but NOYB stands short for None of Your Business and was founded by a privacy activist and lawyer, Max Schrems, and he enforces privacy rights against large corporations. He has, at the day of the screenshot, and it's a few weeks ago, he has imposed 1.74 billion euros in fines. He has 508 pending cases, 859 total cases. Over 5,000 supporting members. And the most recent thing he's campaigned for, and there's an update on this, is Meta. So he won AI plans in the EU. Meta has in fact withdrawn their plan to roll out their latest version of AI everywhere in the European Union. So that is a huge win, and I'm not against Meta per se, so I'm sorry if they're taking a hard hit here, because the next slide also, on the day I took the screenshot, news was that they led 2 inquiries into Meta in Ireland, and they forced them to bring the data processing operations into compliance within a period of 3 months, and they also fined them $180 million for breaches in relation to the Instagram service and $210 million for breaches of the GDPR relating to this Facebook service. So there's a regulation is happening in the EU, mostly in the EU, and big tech companies are having to comply. They have been fined for many years, and for them, it's not really a big problem to just pay the fines. As we can see here, Amazon was fined 746 million euros by Luxembourg in 2021 for GDPR violations. Meta, again here, 405 million by the Irish authorities. So these fines are nothing when you think about these companies that turn over billions every year and are valued at many billions. But well, it's a start, I suppose, and I believe that regulation in AI is necessary. I don't think it should be made illegal at all. It's a tool. It's like a knife. You can cut your food with it. You can make, tools with it that help you survive. And it has a lot of, benign and good uses for humanity, but you can also kill with it. And the knife shouldn't be made illegal, but killing should be illegal. And the same applies to AI. I think the technology itself has more potential for good than it has for evil, but we clearly need to make the evil use cases illegal, and that's countries and responsibilities. So, U.S. regulation on AI safety is very skim. There is no comprehensive federal legislation or regulations in the U.S. that regulate development of AI or specifically prohibit or restrict use. That is from AI Global Regulatory Tracker, United States wide case. And the same law firm also says that existing laws that concern AI always with limited application. Those include the Federal Aviation Administration, National Defense Authorization Act, fiscal year 2019, directed at the Department of Defense to take various AI-related activities, including appointing a coordinator to oversee AI activities. The National AI Initiative Act of 2020 focused on expanding AI research development, created the National Artificial Intelligence Initiative Office that is responsible for overseeing and implementing the U.S. National AI Strategy. So yeah, basically they created some offices to make sure that the defense in the U.S. is up to date with AI, but there isn't much else in regulation. Same applies for Australia. If you're there, you can carry on about your business with having more content and do what you want, but the Online Safety Act of 2021 includes safety issues related to AI-generated content. Also, the Australian consumer law is applied to algorithmic decision-making, exemplified by a federal court case where Trivago was fined 44.7 million for misleading consumers with algorithmic recommendations. EU regulation on AI safety are a little bit more involved. The Digital Service Act of July 2021, as fake news and hate speech, is aimed at reducing the risks linked to disinformation and hate speech, and the penalty is up to 600 people over for non-compliance. The EU AI Act is the latest edition of the body in Brussels, and it will regulate use of artificial intelligence in the EU. It's the first comprehensive AI law in the world. Final draft was 19th of April 2024, and it will affect all businesses in the European Union utilizing AI. Also, those other users in the European Union, for that matter. So it aims to ensure safety, protect fundamental rights, and boost innovation. It provides detailed guidance for startups, and it establishes obligations for AI based on potential risks and of impact. There is a compliance checker here that you can check out if you're wondering if your current operations comply with the new EU AI Act. So the EU AI Act segments AI business into 3 levels of risk. There is the unacceptable or prohibited risk, which is social scoring and manipulative AI. This is designed to sort of China system where make biometric categorization systems based on characteristics. It includes some target scraping of facial images for facial recognition databases. You're not allowed to use motion recognition in workplaces, schools, for medical safety reasons. You are not allowed to use social scoring and predictive policing based on your body, and you are not allowed to build AI that manipulates human behavior or exploits vulnerabilities. I think it would fall under umbrella, but I leave it to the EU to enforce the ones that they consider unacceptable risks. So there are high-risk applications of AI, and these are critical areas like healthcare and employment. Examples include critical infrastructure, education, employment, healthcare, law enforcement. They require risk assessments and mitigation. They need to maintain use logs, and they need high requirements for transparency and accuracy. Also, human rights, and citizens must have to mind complaints and explanations. The general purpose AI applications, this is the next lower category, these are required to provide technical docs, instructions, compliance, training, and data summary. Free and open licenses, they need only copyright, training, data summary, and systemic risk. General purpose AI, open or closed, require model evaluations and adversarial testing, like projects, is tracking and reporting. Cybersecurity protections is the standard utility database is secure, encrypted, and address and transit, use authentication, JWT, the usual stuff. So these obligations for the systems that we want to build in the AI. For the risk ones, we can find out that they are subject to light transparency obligations and must ensure end users are aware to interacting with AI, and for applications like chatbots and deepfakes will apply. So the most important thing from this is that even if you're classified as a risk within the EU AI Act, you must always disclose when an email, a chat, agent, whatever that's required to is actually AI. So this is the minimum requirement, this disclosure. It completely eliminates the possibility of impersonating fake people if people comply with this act. So, in line with that, also the European Data Governance Act, the objective is facilitating sharing across sectors in EU countries to boost efficiency, transparency, and sustainability for EU citizens and businesses. And it's part of the European Strategy for Data. The key measures are the public sector data reuse, which facilitates the reuse of non-open data for health, for example, health research. It aims to be a trustworthy data intermediary, so it ensures that intermediaries act as reliable organizers of data sharing within the EU data spaces, and it's designed to make it available for society, simplifying the process for citizens and businesses to share their societal benefit. Now, if you think about this Data Governance Act and how the cross-sector and cross-border sharing will give trusted organizations access to a lot of public data, properly anonymized and properly handled by e-governance procedures, the amount of progress is quite significant when you look at how the EU is addressing this. So if you want to sign up and get one of these badges, build their copyright as well, or have a trademark on them, you can get a badge that you have the seal of approval for the EU data governance. So if you aim to do that and also provide access and gain access to a lot of clean, reliable data, you need to demonstrate that you have a comprehensive AI data governance policy. That includes data ownership and stewardship, clearly assigned roles and responsibilities for data management. It includes data quality and privacy protocols, which are the integrity and confidentiality of AI training data. It includes implementing robust AI data management frameworks, data classification and labeling, categorizing data based on sensitivity and relevant for AI models. Also access controls, access to data storage to protect AI assets. Ensure transparency and accountability in AI. Model explainability, document and communicate how AI models make decisions. Handling logs. Maintain records of data source transformations and usage in AI processes. The data protection regulations require you to adhere to laws such as GDPR, CCPA, and sector-specific regulation. Full ethical guidelines are updated with emerging regulations specifically related to AI and machinery. Foster a culture of ethical AI use, training and awareness, provide and educate employees on ethical AI practices and the importance of data privacy. Ethical decision-making involves promoting ethical considerations in AI development and deployment. Don't turn into psychopaths and start making money in AI. Invest in AI-specific data security measures, encryption and secure access. Use advanced security technologies to protect AI training and
operational data. Bit relevant at the moment, don't always rely on third parties to handle that risk for you. The risk and the damage that's done with every breach is going to increase exponentially now that we have AI. And it's not just us who have it, it's also bad actors and hackers who have it. So keep that in mind. Make sure you give enough budget to the IT guys who are always moaning about needing more security. They're not wrong. Regular security audits continuously assess and update security measures to defend against threats. Here are a few resources. If you want to dig deeper into the topic, you can check out the AI Now Institute. They have a 2023 landscape report, Berkman Klein Center for Internet Society at Harvard, Sensenelac Joint Technical Committee on Artificial Intelligence, Institute for Technology Ethics and Culture Handbook, ISO, IT, AI Guidance and Risk Management Standard, NIST AI Risk Management Framework, NVIDIA, NEMO Guardrails provides a flexible interface for defining specific behavioral rails that bots need to follow, and also the Stanford Institute for Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence is a great resource on your journey to implementing ethical AI. So I wish you the best of luck and may you succeed.